Today I'm going to show you how to make your own bagoong alamang, but first let's learn all about how they catch the alamang.
Yung mga lolo-lolo kasi namin, ganito rin ang hanap buhay nung araw pa. Tapos nung panahon na ng mga tatay namin, sila naman, parang salin-salin lang, lipat-lipat. Hanggang sa kami naman, ito yung pinsan ko siya naman. Kumbaga, pinanganak kami, marurunong ng lumangoy pag taga dito ka eh. Pag maliliit kasi kami, nahagis kami sa ilog eh. Para matuto ka lumangoy. Tapos nung natuto ako nito, mga edad ako, siguro mga 17, 16. Pero ngayon na ako, mga 49. Ang main po na dito, yung kinukuha talaga alamang sa lugar namin. Yung mga nanggagaling po sa sinasabing alamang Pangasinan o alamang Nueva Ecija o kung saan man. Dito po talaga yun mainly. Pagka panahon po ng alamang, humuhuli yan ng 90 banyera, 100. Ito yung pinakakanal namin eh. Lalabas tayo. Nakikita nyo mga parang bandera. Palatandaan niya na dito ka kailangan gumawi, dito ka gagawi. Hinahanap ka sa lukuyan ni Kapitan yung School of Alamang. Shrimp krill. Hinahanap niya yung kawan, tawag sa amin kawan. Pagka nakakita, ayan. Susuruin ito, ayan. Ayan. Ito yung manual, yung saag na sinasabi sa amin. Traditional na manual. Pag wala kang bangka, ang way mo lang maglakad. Ewan ko, tawag sa ibang lugar, parusa eh. Parusa siguro dahil mahirap. Tinutulak yan eh. Siyempre, i-opposite mo sa hangin yan. Yung hangin papalo dito. Parang ang nakikipaglaban, di ba? Mahirap. Kaya yun, nagtsatsaga sila. Ayun, kailangan talaga tiyaga ka, ma-patience ka. Kasi tsaka kailangan masinop ka rin. Ito naman, itong pangalawang uri ng pangawan to. Ito marami kasi to. Para kasi tayong nasa commercial boat na eh. Kumbaga talaga pag umuli to, tans-tans. Yung tao naman, baka wala pang 1 horsepower yung tao eh. Di po ba? Baka nga 1/4 horsepower lang. Kaya pag tumulak siya, mabagal. Kaya nga nung diesel na ang ginamit, hindi na makaporma yung alamang. Nandoon na lahat sa lambat. Si Joseph, yung pinsan ko, buhat ng maliit, 7 years old, sumasama na. Kumbaga, naging passion niya yung pagdaragat eh. Kahit wala siya, naging playground niya yung dagat. Gusto niya kasama siya palagi hanggang sa pinasa ng tatay niya sa kanya yung nalalaman. Yun po, nag-umpisa yun nung pandemic. Halos lahat po ng tao napilayan. Kaya naisip po namin yung alamang parang nabibilang sa esensyal. Kumbaga nilalawak sa gulay, sa mga gulay, pwedeng sausawan ng mangga. Kaya doon po kami nag-umpisa. Nagsabi ako sa misis ko na try natin yung total. Sa Bataan naman ang gagaling yung mga raw material na alamang. Dito po kasi sa amin, sa lugar namin, marami po ditong, lalo yung mga ninuno namin, nagbabagoong na rin. Eh, nung napunta ulit ako sa dagat, ibang saya. Kumbaga, siyempre, doon po kami pinalaki ng mga magulang namin, doon kami sinanay. Kaya po, nagpapasalamat din ako na nabigyan kami ng oportunidad sa makabalik din sa dagat. Usually po dito sa amin, sa lugar namin, dito sa Pilar, sa Balot. Ano po ito, lugar talaga ng matabang magsipagtimpla. Ano kasi sila yung more on pambahay, pang-ulam. Hindi po sila yung panlak sa mga gulay Nung una, lagi kami lugi Kasi sabi ko nga sa inyo, hindi agad kami magbabagoong nung araw. Humuhuli kami ng alamang, pero hindi kami nagpo-process. Lately ko na lang natutunan niya. By experience din. Parang charge to experience palagi ang nangyayari. Nabubulukan, nalulugi ng 30,000, 40. Tinatawanan na lang namin, ganun talaga Pero yung tawa namin, nakakaiyak din. Pero lahat ng supplyan namin, gantong timpla, gantong gusto ko, ganto, huwag magbabago. Puro ganon. Kaya lang yung alamang natin dito, seasonal siya. Hindi siya tumatagal ng 6 months na araw-araw. May mga pagitan. Bare months, nag-uumpisa na. Kasi gusto ng alamang taglamig. Pag niluto mo, ang bango. Yung kapitbahay, sasabihin, pengi nga pag naluto. Ganun, pengi. Dadala akong platito. Ganun ba?
What a treat to be able to see how this is all going to come together and how basically they harvest the alamang and then how you can then process it. Now, if you've never made bagoong ever, I really highly recommend it. Obviously, the ones that you buy that are pre-made will always come with certain subtleties and flavors that they like to use. So by using the raw product as raw as you can get it, basically it allows you to be really kind of creative with what you want to add to it. And it can be done in so many different ways. The alamang we have today is just very lightly salted. If it was something that has been kind of like sitting in salt for a long time, then I would recommend kind of washing it with water first. But with this one, what I like to do is just add a little bit of vinegar already to the raw product, and then just letting that sit just for about 30 minutes before actually using it. This will just kind of like help just balance out those flavors right from the get-go. Now I'm gonna do a very kind of like simple bagoong alamang by using some tomatoes, onions, garlic, a little bit of chili, obviously lots of oil, and some brown sugar. Now this is completely optional, but I like to use some tomatoes just because I like the flavor that it gives to it, but it's really important to kind of remove the seeds in the water that are in there. We're trying to remove as much of the water as possible as we cook this down, so it'll be counterproductive to leave the seeds in there. We're gonna go ahead and strain out that first vinegar. And then place that back in the bowl. And now we're ready to cook. Vinegar goes into the wok. The alamang goes in. Boil this all together. And then we're just gonna wait till that vinegar kind of just gets absorbed by the alamang and this becomes more or less a dry mixture. Interesting to note also, there's tons of different types of fermented shrimp pastes, not only in the Philippines, but all over Southeast Asia. Some of them are fermented, some of them are not, just like here where it's really just salted and then kept in the fridge for a couple of days before using it. And then alamang can also be used in various provinces at different stages of its life. Like in different cuisines, you'll find it, the shrimp's just salted, being used in some dishes already. So always be kind of very open as to the dishes presented to you. And it's also really interesting to just kind of see the different intricacies in different provinces. So the way we're doing it today is kind of like how I grew up eating bagoong and how I grew up using it. Do not be afraid of oil. Oil is your friend. About 1/4 of a cup should be enough. We can always add more later. We're gonna add our tomatoes first. Cook that down, and then we're gonna add our garlic and onion. The smell is already smelling like bagoong. So we're not looking to give it too much color, we're just looking to kind of soften everything. Our alamang goes back in. Vinegar goes in. Exact same process. We'll wait for that vinegar to start dissipating. Brown sugar, and then let that kind of cook down and just give it a beautiful color. So you see, nice and oily, color is completely changed, it smells intoxicating. All we need to do now is put it in a jar. Let's give this a taste. Now don't freak out, obviously this is supposed to be really salty, right? Sweet, salty, just a bit chili. This over some rice, or even used in tons of dishes would be absolutely amazing. Make your own bagoong at home. Cheers.